What's up? What up? Damn. Today is November 29th, 2023. I was supposed to come out with my breaking opinion. It's news and opinion. Opinion news. I hope you like my new intro. It's gonna be pretty exciting. I've been doing some upgrades. I've been learning how to do my thing up on here. And I think it's wonderful. I like it. Which I wasn't ever originally doing this. But we're going to get into a lot of stuff today. We're going to get into the economy. We're going to get into world news. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. And I wonder what we should start off with first. Let me see here. Let me see. Yeah. Damn. It's just so much to cover. So much. And you know what? I'm going to do things differently. I'm gonna just play my trusted news sources, which are whether it be YouTubers or the news. I'm gonna play. I guess I just go play parts of their stuff and get into it. Now let's start off with this. Okay, let me switch it over here. Oh, there we go. Where I need to be. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. And you know what I kind of want to do? I want you to see what I got. Another view of what I got going on. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. God damn. Annoying ass mofos. Anyway, what I got here. Let's change up this view. Oh boy, it takes me a while. I'm blind here. All right. And I want you to notice something. This is my setup. I got the big flat screen here, my monitors, and my computer that I originally bought so my son would go ahead and stream gaming stuff and everything like that. Powerful piece of equipment. And look what he does. Gundam stickers. All up on it. I tell you. Teenagers. I don't know. But it is what it is. All right, let me go back to the original view. I set up I got multiple cameras and everything like that. So I set this one up here for I had it sitting over here, but I never used it. And I think this right here works out better. You can see my OBS is running over here. Anyway, let's change this up here. All right. This right here is about Ron Jeremy, the legend, the legendary Ron Jeremy. And as you know, he's been accused of rape. He was charged back in 2020, which a legend in the game. Let me see. There is and this came out 7 minutes. 7 minutes? Well, that's whatever. This came out November 28th. So that was yesterday. My first time seeing it. And I mean, there's so many women that accuse this man of rape. But what you don't know, more than 30 counts of sexual assault. Mr. Jeremy is Jewish. And the same people run the porn industry. But I must say, I gotta take Jeremy's side because this stuff happened a long time ago. This dude been washed up for a long time. He hasn't been doing that. I would see him. They would show him at conventions and stuff like that, running around. He ain't doing nothing. He's still like promoting it because he's part of that crew, right? So, what did they say? Ron Jeremy appears for his arraignment on rape sexual assault charges at downtown Los Angeles courtroom in 2020. And let's keep it simple, stupid. When Elena Evans found out Ron Jeremy's rape case would end with him being released to a private residence, she said it left her emotionally drained and completely derailed. And as it says, let me see if I can do something different here. Let's see if I can. My computer can do a lot of fucking shit. Let's read this aloud.
A longtime adult film entertainer and president of the Adult Performance Artists Guild, Evans testified before the Los Angeles County Grand Jury that indicted Jeremy on more than 30 counts of sexual assault in 2021 and spent years working with women in the porn industry who decided to speak out against one of its most legendary figures.
Now I have to go through it. Now, this is the part right here. This is the part right here.
It was unlikely Jeremy would ever stand trial after a court declared him mentally incompetent in January because of symptoms related to severe dementia, but Evans said Friday's news felt like a final knife twist.
So pretty much, they can't do shit to him. You waited too long. So former porn actor Jeremy to be released to a private residence with rape case frozen, health deteriorating. The man's got dementia. It's a wrap. What are you gonna do? You don't know what the fuck is going on. So he ain't going to. But guess what? He's not going to jail, but he's still gonna suffer because these facilities are freaking like prisons. You go to a nursing home, it's like a prison. You know what I'm saying? You go to the nursing home, they want to inject you with bullshit. Shit that you don't want. But then he got dementia, so he wouldn't know, right? Let's go. So poor Ron Jeremy. You know, you're in a business that what your day is to have sex. So I don't know how the hell this is gonna happen. How do you get it? How do you come across this guy? You mean to tell me he works in that field and acting like that, and he's got to go out and do some bullshit like that? He's doing mad scenes and everything. He's been doing them. He's probably producing. He down with them peoples. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of, like I just said, you not being able to, you go into these facilities and they're going to do whatever they want with you. And right now, let's talk about this. This is a lawsuit. Now, this is on my Twitter, whatever. And what it says, shock report, medical officer reveals that vacation-related heart issues skyrocketing in active duty naval officers. Woo! Myocarditis rises. Wow, they're 51%. Pulmonary heart disease up 62%. Ischemic heart disease up 69%. Heart failure increased a whopping 973%. We're fucked. Let's see what the man has to say. Shall we? Shall we hear this?
So in July, Undersecretary Cisneros acknowledged the DMED data, the database working properly, and also acknowledged things such as myocarditis rising 151%. So what I did, I went in today. I'm doing the same thing, 5-year average. However, I'm comparing it to 2022, and I only am using fixed wing pilots and helicopter pilots, active duty. So we get hypertensive disease, 36%, ischemic heart disease, 69%, pulmonary heart disease, 62%, heart failure, 973%, other forms of heart disease, 63%, cardiomyopathy, 152%. So in July, Undersecretary Cisneros acknowledged the DMED data, the database working properly, and also acknowledged things such as myocarditis rising 151%. So what I did, I went in today. I'm doing the same thing, 5-year average. However, I'm comparing it to 2022, and I only am using fixed wing pilots and helicopter pilots, active duty. So we get hypertensive disease, 36%, ischemic heart disease, 69%, pulmonary heart disease, 62%, heart failure, 973%, other forms of heart disease, 63%, cardiomyopathy, 152%. So in July.
All right. Now you heard that. As I speak, I'm just going to browse. Yeah. I'm not browsing as I speak. So there's a lawsuit going on that these soldiers that didn't want to get that vacation, they but now they're like, oh well, you don't have to go on vacation. You can come back. There's more bullshit. But you can come back and everything like that. So guess what? So they I think they dishonorably discharged them and all this bullshit. So now they say, oh well, you can come back now because their numbers is down. They done lost a lot of people, right? So now the government's being sued for doing this to them, for letting them go, trying to enforce them to do this, and they're being sued for millions, hundreds of millions, God knows what. And I am all for that. I'm all for that smoke. Get them. They wasted the money going overseas and everything. Why not bring it to men and women over here? And unfortunately, the ones that gave in the weak, now they got all these issues, right? Fucking idiot. But I mean, majority. I tell you, I've been around. I've been to these bases and everything, and you got a lot of NPCs working over on the base. I mean, damn. So the job was done. So, oh wow, it was crazy over there. So anyway, that also happened in New York. The police officers that's like, nah, I ain't doing that. That they were out of work for the longest and everything. And a judge, I think a Supreme Court judge said, oh, there's no reason why they should have been forced to have to do this vacation or nothing. So now you got to pay them back all that money. I think it was over a year or two that they got let go. You got to pay them all back that money, all that back money. New York had to pay, and now New York can't afford nothing because they got this migrant crisis bull crap. Oh man, we're about to see something pop off up in here. Oh shit! Look at that! Wow. You done messed up on this one.
Well, what the hell were you just trying to do? You were trying to kill that guy. Obviously showing a tremendous amount of restraint. He could have freaking turned that guy into Swiss cheese oblivion, but obviously he has self-control. He's not a freaking monster like these tool bags. Right here, he was 2 steps ahead. He's all right. Wait for the flash. Smile, bitch, and booyah! Perfectly flattens out in the nap position as his buddy takes off on him, and this guy, the hero, takes a couple of shots, even shoots his weapon. This motherfucker's like Charles Bronson and Clint Eastwood combined. Sends a couple of more instant lead messages and gets his point across. So does his buddy.
Congratulations, you got what you deserved. Nice. Oh, you're gonna see a lot of this. This is gonna be happening here. All this stuff right here. Wow. Look at this. Kill this little boy. You see what it says, right? You see that? That's okay though. That's okay. What's this? What about that guy in Vermont who shot three students, Palestinian students? I mean, this is unbelievable. NPC just went out of control in Vermont, shooting people all because of their nationality. Disgusting. And, oh my God! What the hell? Okay, that's a little bit too sickening for me. All right, I'm gonna maybe I'll come back to this later. Let's see what else I could do here. Let me go back to this and take my life, sort things out. This is just ridiculous. So maybe we were just talking about that thing, right? So let's go to this. All right, let's go back. This is the main man here, boy. And let me tell you, I don't really.
I'm here in Kharkov, and
this is Gonzalo Lira. And the man got a lot of common sense. Whether you want to say it's fact or fiction or pretty much it's his opinion. And he's not an NPC to a certain extent. He's locked up in Ukraine right now for freedom of speech. When you say something against what they want heard, right? And when I say that he's a freaking NPC, he's still an NPC because he was released and he's over heading towards the border to Romania. What does he do before he hits the border? He does a live stating that he's leaving the country, that he's going to go across the border and seek asylum. And he announces that he's going to the border, or was it Romania, Hungary, or some shit? I don't know what's over there. And then you don't see him again. You don't hear from him again. Because they got him. So God knows how long he's going to stay in prison for freedom of speech. But let's check out what he says on this one right here. This is a while back. This is back in 2022.
There's electricity. Yay. So anyway, I'm a generalist. I know a few things very, very well. I know how to write. I know the publishing business. I know the movie business. I know how to produce movies. I know the nitty-gritty details of that. But in general, insofar as my commentary online, I'm a generalist. I mean, I don't pretend otherwise. And see, a generalist basically is somebody whose bullshit detector is fine-tuned, right? So, recently, I heard about this study claiming that the medicine, you know what I'm talking about, of course, that the medicine, well, those who have not taken the medicine are more likely to get into traffic accidents. There was this big study about it. And I'm like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. See, when I first heard about the medicine in December of 2020, I had no idea that it was, mRNA technology and any of this stuff. I had none of the background that, all of the test animals had died in all of the studies using this mRNA technology. I had no idea of any of that stuff. But when I first heard about the medication in December of 2020, I automatically said, I'm not going to take that stuff. No way. Why? Because I know, and I know that special word, thalidomide. I know that any medication has to be extensively tested. It's not something that, snap, crackle, pop, and you got it. No. It's something that takes years, sometimes over a decade, to make sure that any medication is safe. Because, of course, thalidomide, look it up, it had horrifying side effects. And thalidomide as a medicine is actually quite useful in certain very specific circumstances, like leprosy and some other maladies, right? But thalidomide caused all kinds of malformations of children, of fetuses, that resulted in them having no arms or no legs or no limbs whatsoever. It was horrifying. Anyway. So when I heard about the medication in December of 2020, I was like, nah, I don't buy this. And then, more information, it's like, definitely I'm not taking this stuff, and I haven't. But, see, a lot of other people thought the same as I did. And on 4chan, on Poll, there were some people in mid-2021 or so that started saying, you wait, you're going to see a lot of random traffic accidents. And it's going to be from people who took the medicine and had some medical event while they were driving, and they get into traffic accidents. And I was like, okay, fine. I mean, on Poll, all kinds of crazy-ass conspiracy theories pop up. I mean, that's the fun of it, because, you got, 90% chaff and 10% of, golden nuggets, okay? So anyway, I put it there in the back of my mind, and lo and behold, this study comes out from this journal. It's all very serious, very serious people have thought this up, claiming that those who are unvaccinated are more likely to get into traffic accidents. So right off the bat, I'm like, that's bullshit. My bullshit meter just went off the charts right then when I heard the title. Now, John Campbell, Dr. John, who's got a channel, I started following him when he had 30,000 subscribers back in March of 2020, I want to say. And now he's got over almost 2.5 million subscribers, right? And he's gotten red-pilled. Oh, all kinds of red-pilled. And I'm going to link below his very detailed analysis of this study. And in that video, which I suggest you go watch it, he takes this study apart, and he says something very interesting. He says that the people who created it were very, very clever as to how they manipulated data. He points out, in fact, that the body of evidence that they used, the data that they used, is not publicly available. And right there, red alarms should be flashing, because if you can't see the actual data that they're basing their thesis on, then they can drive a truck through that invisible data. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he gives a very detailed analysis of this study. But I, as a generalist, I want to step back a little bit and tell you why this study came out. The study came out for a very simple reason. It was, of course, financed by one of the companies that pushes the medication. And they want to put it out there so it's the first thing that you find when you look up excess traffic deaths among the unvaccinated or excess traffic deaths among the vaccinated. See, it's trying to poison the well. It's trying to say that anybody who claims that those people who've gotten the medication are perfectly fine, they're healthier than people who did not get the medication. See, because what's happening is that we do see excess deaths, and they're starting to hide that information. There are a lot of very smart people who are looking at the excess deaths, all-cause excess deaths, and they're seeing a noticeable rise, especially among people who took the medication. And of course, that died suddenly. You know what I'm talking about? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to me that this is a deliberate attempt to poison the well so as to nip in the bud the possibility that people who took the medication are more likely to get into traffic accidents. And Dr. John does a very good job of taking the study apart and showing how it's clearly biased. And there's one point where he says, he draws a line.
All right. You're on too much. Anyway, what he's saying is pretty much what an insurance agent told me, which is a single occupant vehicle crash. Meaning, one person driving in a car suddenly crashes into something, a light pole, a tree, whatever. This is what's been happening. It's rampant. Or maybe veering off and going head on collision. I saw something. In fact, I took a video. I took a video of that. Let me see if I can find it. Guess what? I found it. Check this out. Whoa! Now, why would that person be driving on the opposite side of the road? Why would they veer off and just do a head-on collision?
But I have personal interest in it, I understand. They took more part of it.
I couldn't see it!
It's behind us.
Ability. Feast of blood. Blood. Smell.
Wow.
Wanting to come back and show these lives because of her kids.
Question because this is like...
Oh my god. Ah!
There you go. Maybe they're not really brainless after all. Maybe it's something else. I am. Let's see if I can. Let me see.
On a series of data points, and he says, see, this correlation, it's so even that it can't be just chance. It's clearly a flaw in the study. See? The lies. Anything to cover up the truth. And I just wanted to highlight the study. I really suggest you go check out Dr. John's analysis of the study, and in the video of Dr. John.
So there you go. Woo! Right now, it's got to chill. I've been having some cold symptoms my damn self. Oh man. Oh wow. Well, I think. Oh, and guess what else? I have. Here we go. Here we go. This. We're gonna go into this.
From Beijing on pneumonia reporting, bringing its medical transparency into question yet again. Undiagnosed pneumonia with unusual symptoms. How does the current outbreak in China compare to COVID-19? A look at expert insights. An influence memo from the Chinese Communist Party exposed by U.S. lawmakers. How do the regime's tactics operate in America? And Washington has promised a new round of mid-range missiles to the Indo-Pacific region next year. Officials say the weapons will keep Beijing's forces away from Taiwan. What do you think? Let us know below and subscribe if you haven't already. Meyer, a replay of the COVID-19 pandemic's earliest days. Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer, a replay of the COVID.
Man, I tell you, boy, I love me some Tiffany Meyer. Ugh. I don't know, but she's so nice. I hope. Oh my God, this is just so tyrannical. It's so tyrannical. I mean, Whew, I'm not even gonna go into it how I feel about China, but I wish Tiffany Maya nothing but the best, and all the fine young ladies like Tiffany Maya. Oh, Lord protect them. I hate to see a beautiful woman suffer or go through any drama like this. Oof, such a waste. Anyway,
COVID-19 pandemic's earliest days, China's mysterious pneumonia outbreak is raging across the nation and bringing back some unwelcome memories. That's alongside a lingering question, is Beijing's lack of medical transparency still causing issues? Here's an exclusive scoop shared by an insider from the country's top leadership.
As a mysterious wave of pneumonia cases rages through China, the communist regime's top officials have been given a secret directive: downplay the current outbreak and avoid using the term COVID-19. The order coming straight from the Chinese Communist leader Xi Jinping. That's according to an insider with knowledge of the top echelons of the Chinese Communist Party. We gave her a pseudonym out of safety concerns.
Major foreign media outlets stationed in Beijing also received the order, which makes it clear that no interviews are allowed to report on the so-called mycoplasma pneumonia infections or influenza. Domestic media are also prohibited from making any comprehensive reports on this outbreak. That is just like pretending this never happened.
She adds authorities have been ordered by Xi to refer to the outbreaks of serious respiratory disease as mycoplasma pneumonia infections, or as other infections that are not COVID-19, such as influenza. She also reveals multiple Chinese hospitals have set up makeshift clinics to cope with the surging demand for treatment. Such facilities are most known for large-scale medical isolation tactics used during the COVID-19 pandemic in China.
The affiliated hospital of Hebei University has one makeshift clinic, and Baoding First Central Hospital has one. They are the only two hospitals. The affiliated hospital of Hebei University's makeshift clinic is already put into use, primarily for children receiving IV drop treatments.
That's as pneumonia infections quickly spread from children to adults, overwhelming hospitals across China. Reports of the illness first poured in from major cities in northern China, including Beijing and Tianjin. Northern Liaoning province is also grappling with high case numbers. Now the infections are spreading through 3 southern Chinese provinces. Here's what a resident from Shanghai had to say.
It's very bad now. The child is sick. Basically, all the fever wards are full, and the same is true for Shanghai Pediatric Hospital.
Another resident said the cases in Jiangsu are also getting serious.
Here in Jiangsu, in my city, there are indeed a lot of sick people, both adults and children.
Man, let me tell you, population control. You got one of the largest populations in the world, and this thinning of the herd. So this also goes into something where if you ain't got no bread, if you can't make no moves, you're screwed. And if you have a freaking ignorant female by your side that ain't cooperative, won't listen, then you're screwed. God damn. And this is going on globally. Boy, if you think this right here is a patriarchy, China, and even them bitches be acting fools. They be acting all up. And I mean, if they ain't doing it in their own country, they'll sure as hell wherever they move to and everything, they chicks be out of control. There was a guy that literally severed his wife's head in China. Walked out the house with holding the head right by his side, swinging the head. I mean, is that right? No. But I mean, sometimes it's just like, God damn, he probably a broke ass dude and everything like that. And he said, yo, this is the only way I'm going to get out of this. This is the only way I'm going to stop it. Oh, I'm done with that part. Let's go to something else. Yeah. Let's go to this one. This goes into the financial attack that we're going through.
The cost of living has gotten so out of control that retirees worldwide are in massive panic mode. They're liquidating their 401ks at levels in which they've never imagined.
So many Americans facing hardships because of inflation and a shaky economy.
Americans are tapping their retirement savings, pulling money out of their 401ks at an alarming rate.
Inflation is getting out of control. Here's an example. The cost for groceries since 2020 has increased 25%. This is from Bloomberg. Used cars up 35%. Major appliances up 12%. Car insurance up 33%. Curtains 20%. Restaurant food 24%. Electricity 25%. Rent 20%. Water and sewage 16%. Everything is skyrocketing. Yet wages are softening and in some cases even decreasing. So what's going to give? It's going to be the quality of living. The quality of living is going to fall in a very, very big way in America. And many people that own homes, retirees that own homes, especially on fixed incomes, are being pushed into a corner. And I believe what's going to happen is we're going to see a flood of home inventory continue to hit this market, but not before we start to see 401ks continue to get depleted to levels in which many people can't comprehend. I'm going to show you what's going on, and I'm going to show you a video that I saw on Twitter that's going pretty viral, 140,000 views in 2 hours, of a single mom talking about what she's going through right now that I think is extremely relatable for almost all of us.
Yep. See here. Hold on. We're going to see that video. Check that video out.
I'm going to show you the video. It's 2 minutes. I'm only going to show you the first, call it, minute. So 136,000 views. I mean, this literally just came out. I'm going to refresh it. So let's see how many views this video has now. So
I haven't looked at this whole video, but this guy's a good guy to listen to.
This video so far, 148,000. So it gained about 10,000 views in the last minute or so. But look at this.
Cost of living is quadrupled. Just to get groceries has now costed me a second mortgage. Let's be serious. I have 8 people to feed in my house. It's literally between $1,200 to $1,400 a month just to have groceries in my house. So now my credit, that's been great pretty much my entire life, because I've always believed if you can't buy it, don't have it. So I've never had credit cards. Still recently, last couple of years, I've had to get credit cards just to get by certain things, school clothes or certain Christmas. Let's talk about that. Extra added expenses when I'm already struggling. My mortgage gets paid every month, but it's not at the first of the month. It's definitely at the end of the month. I mean, my bills are getting paid, but I'm falling behind every single day because I have to pick and choose which bills to go behind on so I have groceries in my house.
This is what's happening. And I've been talking about this coming, where people are going to start making decisions on who's going to get paid and who's not going to get paid. Just like this lady is going through right now, tens of millions of Americans are going through a very similar situation. They're saying, you know what, 43.5 million Americans are being obligated to pay their student loans for $503 a month. They don't have that type of means to fulfill the obligation, right? Most people, 2 out of 3 Americans don't have $400 in the bank. So how are they going to fulfill?
You know, this is all part of the plan. This is the cleansing. This is the cleansing. And let me see here. So now we're going to go into, let me finish what that part is. They're going to drain everything. People are going to have to do whatever they can to survive in this hyperinflation, right? And if you look at the houses, I don't think I have some of the houses. Let's see. Okay. So you look at houses, you got builders now giving buyers the option to use their personal or affiliated lender, which are giving you 3-4%, right? So you can go ahead and use their stuff to buy a house, right? Then you got where the home builders are now building these tiny houses, like a tiny house. And so the tiny house will cost you $100 or 150 grand. You can go ahead and buy that. So anything to sell a house, right? Mind you, AI is kicking in full effect, and pretty much people are going to be able to afford nothing because a lot of people will be jobless, right? So now we're going to talk about, because all this economic situation is happening, let's talk about the crime with my trusted source. I like this guy, Joshua Phillips. Crossroads with Joshua. Check this out.
Of the BLM riots and Democrat defund the police movements and other woke campaigns that have severely damaged.
Now, mind you, the defund the police and a massive amount of police have left policing. With cities, Democrat-run cities struggling financially and the crime out of control, police is like, yo, man, they ain't coming. So check it out.
Damaged law enforcement. Let me show you this versus his Breitbart. It says the percentage of homicides that are solved by the Metropolitan Police Department has declined sharply in 2023, leaving the city on track to record its lowest so-called clearance rate or closure rate in more than 15 years. It says as of November 13th, only 75 of the 244 homicides committed this year have been solved by police, factoring in the 33 prior year homicide cleared thus far in 2023. The overall closure stands at around 45%. That would be the lowest rate dating back to at least 2007, according to statistics provided by MPD. Now, it says nationally, the average clearance rate tends to hover between 50% and 60%, according to a professor of criminology they spoke with. Now, what does this mean? Well, it's likely a mix of problems, in my opinion. I would say on one serious issue, police, in a lot of cases, are unable to do their jobs. Police, for example, if they want to go into a community where they've been demonized, they're going to be attacked. They're going to be criticized. People will refuse to cooperate with police as witnesses. For example, if police try to do their jobs, they risk getting, labeled or attacked themselves. Police are worried that they could get prosecuted or have their lives destroyed if a situation turns violent. God forbid they show up and someone's trying to stab someone right in front of them, and the police officer has to shoot the individual trying to murder somebody else, and then gets put all over the news claiming, police violence. That's an actual case, by the way. Then you have the issue of woke prosecutors. Prosecutors who don't seem to care about actually putting people behind bars, and prosecutors who will let people off the hook, including, in some cases, for serious crimes, yes, including murder.
Yo, and on top of that, these fools, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be straight up chaos in the street. And then you have the infiltration of these migrants, which are that are, cool, man, I'm going to let the guy tell you. Let's go ahead and exit this. We're going to come back to that later. This one right here. This one, you hear this.
Speaker Mike Johnson has been very vocal about fixing issues at the border. But DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has continued to deny that there's even an issue at the border at all. During a recent interview with Bloomberg News, Mayorkas stated that 12 million illegal immigrants that are in America have been contributing fundamentally to our country's well-being. While it's true that most of the people that come into the country are just looking for better opportunity, they're still here illegally, and they don't know who's really coming into the country. In fact, we know at least 150 people on the terrorist watch list have entered the country, and now they don't know where they are. In fact, they don't know where 2 million of them are, according to a new report out this morning. Now, speaking of being too lenient on immigration, Tucker Carlson actually just interviewed former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon on the issue. During the interview, the two men highlighted a recent terrorist attack in Ireland that was carried out by an Algerian immigrant who was in the country for unknown reasons. Bannon stated that Ireland is a good example of what could happen to America, and Tucker Carlson agreed that Ireland is being fundamentally transformed by having more immigrants come into the country than Irish babies born, and so it's fundamentally altering Ireland and their history and the country that they will be in the future. But Ireland seems to be embracing it. But one Irish person is pushing back. UFC fighter Conor McGregor commented on the situation and said Ireland is under attack and that the government needs to be doing more to protect Ireland. He was told he's now being investigated for hate speech. So let me get this right. Someone gets stabbed and the person who points it out is now being investigated for hate? Wow. I mean, this World Economic Forum controlled world we live in is getting super wacky. All right, now back in America, an investigation by the media company Wired has unveiled a secret White House surveillance program. The program is reportedly known as Data Analytics Services, which provides law enforcement with details on over 1 trillion phone calls made by Americans each year. The program does so by targeting people that have been suspected of a crime or been in contact with someone who committed a crime or been in contact with someone who's been in contact with someone who committed a crime. Basically, they're just using our data to spy on us every single day.
Man, listen. Boy, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. This is intentional collapse of the world as you know it. And as I said, dealing with these NPCs, they don't want to hear that. They're like, no. They so stupid. I mean, pretty much, I gotta get away from these NPCs because, your mind is like, yo, this is what you need to do. This is the best way to go. But all because of their stupidity, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that because I want this and that and everything. Guess what? So now it's destruction. Yo, I'm good. Whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? I believe the Heavenly Father has got my back. He's gonna look out for me. But and this whole thing is fake anyway. There ain't nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. Which you do the right things, you'll be rewarded, But let me tell you something. You better lock and load. Because it's about to be chaos in these freaking streets, yo. They robbing stores. The stores are shutting down. That's the big narrative. And you're gonna be food deserts, all type of whatever services you need, gonna be hard to get. And when these savages can't go and rob a store and act like that, they'll be looking to do home invasions. So let me go to the rebel capitalist and what he sees, what he thinks is going on. And I think he's on point. He's waking up to what I've been saying.
And this pretty much sums up their position on a lot of things.
Look what he's looking at. Marxist org. Destroy the world, destroy the old to build the new. Listen.
Or their ideology, if you want to call it that. Destroy the old to build the new. Destroy the old to build the new. And then if we go over to the World Economic Forum's website, it's time to rethink migration. Now, when I was looking this up, I thought that it was interesting, to say the least, that they seem to refuse to use the word immigration. I don't know if they're doing that intentionally because they want to be precise about a definition. I doubt it. I think more likely, and I've done a lot of research on the World Economic Forum, as you guys.
And this is shout out to the agitator. This is your answer. This is your answer. And this is like a private conversation we had when he said that, oh, it's over for blacks in this economy because these immigrants are coming in and everything like that, and they're going to take over. Man, they're taking over a burning house, G. A burning house. It ain't going to be standing. And if they do manage to be having something, doing anything, guess what? There ain't going to be no paper currency. It's going to be a digital system where they're going to be fully surveilled, fully controlled. And guess what? They're going to be like, man, listen, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
No, read a lot of their stuff. And my base case would be they're using this word because immigration might be politically incorrect. That may have a negative connotation. But I just highlight this story to show you that this is the push from these global elite. This is the push from the Klaus Schwab types, the George Soros types, the Davos types, if you will. So now what I'd like to do is share a story with you guys that I'm sure you've heard about. And for this, we'll go over, and I'm going to switch up the screen share, and we'll go over to Timcast IRL. And I really enjoy this YouTube channel. I think Tim is great. But let's check out what's going on in Ireland right now, and maybe some comments by someone who I'm a big fan of, and that would be Conor McGregor.
They become terrified of their own government. Conor McGregor reacts to Dublin riots after declaring Ireland is at war. For this, he is under criminal investigation. This is how crazy it is. Take a look. Conor McGregor said he does not condone the riots in Dublin, but insisted that a change must occur after a knife attack left 5 people injured, including 3 children. I like how they say 5 people. Just say 3 children.
Now, one of the things that I find suspicious, to say the least, is why these people that are pushing for immigration, migration, whatever you want to call it, are just doing it open-ended. Like what happened to the type of immigration or migration where you look at the person and determine whether or not that's someone who is likely to benefit society at large?
I'm telling you. And this has been going on globally. Remember when all these migrants came into Europe and everything like that? Germany, all the grapes, all the grape, out of control. And they was like, no, we ain't gonna do it. Man, it's all planned. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we need some fundamental common sense.
Now, back when I was growing up, I thought that was kind of the way it worked. And oddly enough, I know in the United States, it's almost the inverse. And I know from personal experience. You guys know that Angie and Joaquin have worked for me for quite some time, going all the way back to 2013. And I brought them to Colombia from Ecuador. And they're my architect, designer, husband and wife team. And they are outstanding citizens, to say the least. They are top shelf. I mean, they're going to church every single Sunday. They've got 3 kids. They don't drink. They don't do drugs. They are high degrees of integrity, and they have just top-notch character. They are the types of people that you would want your kids to grow up to be. They are productive members of society, to say the least. They are the individuals that you would want to come to the United States. They're the ones that would improve everything around them, produce more goods and services, create an environment, hire people. I mean, for heaven's sakes, when I brought them here from Ecuador, they didn't have a pot to piss in. And now they've got 2 huge businesses. They employ probably 20 or 30 people, and they're growing their business. Again, the exact type of entrepreneurial spirit, the exact type of intelligent, ambitious individuals that you would want to come into your country.
Not
now,
America.
They have tried to get just a tourist visa to come to the United States well over 10 times, and they get denied every single time. They can't even get a tourist visa. Every single time they get denied. But yet, all these people that are flooding through the border down south are just welcomed with open arms and given all of these freebies and all of these handouts. The people that have zero skills, the people that are only going to the United States because we are giving out those freebies. This is the environment that we face right now in the United States. So it seems very suspicious, to say the least. I don't understand that. You would think that if you did have an immigration policy, if you wanted to have tight borders or whatever it was, or if you wanted to invite more people to come in, that you would be selective about that.
Yeah, you think so, right?
But again, we see the complete opposite. And it seems like it's not just the United States. It seems like it's the vast majority of Europe as well. Let's get back to this story. But before we do, I want to remind everyone, and this is not my words, this is going back to Milton Friedman, right? That there's a very simple solution for this. Everyone talks about how the United States was a country of immigrants. And absolutely true. 100%. The difference is we didn't have welfare. So I'm someone that believes we should almost have open borders. Almost. But we shouldn't have any welfare. And if you get rid of the welfare, if you get rid of the freebies, if you get rid of all these things, not just for the immigrants, but for society at large, just watch to see the people that will start funneling into your country. It's going to be the Angies and Joaquins.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the people who are coming across the border who have no skills whatsoever, or the people that are coming across the border that, like this gentleman in Ireland, are clearly mentally ill. But let's get back to the video.
And 2 adults. A 5-year-old girl was left in critical condition after an attack in Dublin on Thursday, November 23rd, which led to violent protests in the Irish capital. I will add, some of the videos of looting, clearly not over immigration. It is a bunch of people just smashing and stealing stuff, and they're saying, oh, they're far right. No, those guys, that's opportunistic. We see that happen all the time. But what we are seeing is a lot of the nationalist personalities in Europe pointing out that the indigenous populations of these countries, the white majority and natives to these lands, are actually protesting. They're actually rioting. It's not just in Dublin. We'll get into more details in a minute on France. We'll talk about that in another segment. But even in France, you had, I believe it was an Algerian immigrant threatening they're here to stab white people, and then a teenager was stabbed and killed.
Okay, so you guys understand the story. You see the dynamic at play here. Now, I don't know what your opinion is on this, but I also want to point out that this is a very slippery slope.
Yep.
So it's not just the immigration coming in, but it's the response to that immigration, or at least the crazies that are coming in, let's say.
And let me tell you something. It's getting to be winter. And when all these people start getting desperate and they start doing stuff, the American product are going to go butt wild. And when they do, I mean, some of these intelligent immigrants, migrants, the intelligent ones are going to bounce, which a lot of them already have. I have a video where I showed that, where they was like, yo, we're out of here. Well, I don't want to go into that. But let's go see. Let's go ahead more.
It's the response to that. It's the writing, which is understandable. Totally understandable. But it puts society as a whole on a very, very slippery slope. This is what I'm referring to. Let's go right over to Zero Hedge. And unbelievably, this is a
You need to reshare your screen.
Okay.
Speed this up.
There we go. Getting back to Zero Hedge. This is a quote, believe it or not, from one of these politicians over there. And I hear a lot of people that are kind of cheering for the populist, we'll call them right-wing leaders, thinking that they are very libertarian. Maybe, but maybe not. And I may agree with a lot of their views, but I'm definitely going to call out things that they're saying that are absolutely insane. And just as authoritarian as what we heard from the left crazies during the cerveza sickness, right? Whether the authoritarianism is on the left or right, it's irrelevant. It's bad. It's not what we want. We do not want authoritarianism, regardless of what the battle cry is. So getting back to this gentleman, according to Zero Hedge, actually said we need to demolish mosques in Sweden. We need to demolish them. What? Like, are you insane?
You see that? It's going to be all type of extreme reaction. You're going to fight against it. You're going to fight against these people. And the system is going to fight against you. And I mean, damn. And this is what we have. This is our future. Let's go into this part.
We shift from Ireland and what's happening in Europe and to a large degree here in the United States with immigration. And now let's go over to Seattle, the West Coast, Wall Street Journal, a labor strike over shoplifting. Now, you may say to yourself, okay, George, ha, 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 ha. Well, that's what the liberals get for defunding the police. That's what they get for, doing all these things that have broken down rule of law. And okay, I get it. I agree. But let's think about this through the lens of destabilizing economy, Marxism, the global elite. Okay. So what we're seeing here is it's not just a labor strike over shoplifting, but it's the unions are now fighting with people that used to be on their team. And again, to a certain degree, I think it kind of serves them right. But on the other hand, I'm like, wait a minute here, wait a minute. Let's fast forward 3, 4, 5 years, and we get to the point where everybody is fighting with one another. It's not just the left that's fighting the right. It's the left that's fighting amongst each other. There's 15 different factions, let's say, of the left, and same with the right, and they're all fighting against one another to the point where society can't even function. So my point here, getting back to Seattle, is and I'm reading, United Food and Commercial Workers, Locals 3000, say Macy is not doing enough to address shoplifting, violent shoppers, and other safety threats to worker and customers. Among evidence, the union points to incident involving Lisa Lewick, a longtime employee of Macy's store 20 miles north of downtown. So she says she would see frequent shoplifting, even occasional violence. The lack of security affects our customers too. But when she called 911, a repeat shoplifter that even law enforcement was familiar with, Macy's suspended her without pay for nearly 3 weeks. So basically, Macy's did this because they want the virtue signal to everyone, saying that, oh no, we're not racist. Oh no, we're not going to call the police. We hate the police too. We think we should defund. This whole narrative that we see spring up in the left behind the Black Lives Matter movement or whatever it is, right? They want to pander to this audience. But what they're doing effectively is they're pissing off the union, which is also on the far left, because they're, if you want to believe them, they're trying to stand up for their employees. So it gets to the point where the unions on the left are fighting with the virtue signalers on the left as well. Just like we're seeing the people in Ireland start fighting amongst one another. And just like we are seeing these politicians start, again, it's hard for me to even believe the guy said that, but to literally start demolishing places of worship. I mean, that should be one of the fundamentals of modern society, is freedom of religion, for heaven's sakes. And if you want to argue that a mosque is kind of a hotbed for things that are counterproductive for Western values, that look, you can't. That now you're going down the path like Minority Report. You're trying to prevent crime by prosecuting someone for a crime before they even commit it, and then justifying. Well, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You've got to wait until someone commits a crime. They're not guilty of a crime until they commit the crime, for heaven's sakes.
You know, that's what the surveillance is for. That's what the monitoring of the digital currency, monitoring what you're buying, what you're paying for. So you have AI, right? So AI is going to be like, yo, you know what? This person has been talking a certain way. This person's been buying certain things, an alarm goes off. And then guess what? Then next year you got those people showing up to your door. Right? Man, this is Tom Cruise deal going on here.
Right? But anyway, getting back to this article, you see all the shoplifters. You see this movement on the left to basically get rid of rule of law, get rid of the police. And now you see this infighting amongst members of the same group. So now it's not just the right and left. It's the point where everyone is fighting. And I think it's going to get much, much worse. So then you have to ask the question, is this something that's planned? Or is this just coincidence?
It is planned. And let me tell you something. I went to Best Buy, and there was hardly anybody there, really. But I saw they had a display there of Xboxes and PlayStation and stuff like that. And I went in there with my son. He wanted to get a gift card and everything like that. And I went looking for something, and we paid, and we're walking out the door. So as I'm walking towards the door, they got this slim kid, Spanish looking kid. So what I do is I'm very playful, you know what I'm saying? I come in the place and everything, and I got nothing but personality. I'm giving the guys, the salespeople shit and everything like that in a friendly manner. They was like, "Damn, I could have swear I met you before. I've seen you before," or something like that. I'm like, "Man, I don't know, man." Anyway, so I go ahead and we're walking towards the door and everything like that, and I start running. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like I'm not running. I'm too old for that bullshit. But I act like I'm about to break into light speed as a 50-something-year-old. breakneck speed, but ain't no speed at all. But when the homie looked at me, he said, "Oh man." And what does that cause? That causes a conversation. And he said, "Oh man," I was about to be like, "Oh no, not again," right? I said, "Not again." He said that 5 people were inside the store, young people, and he snatched up a whole bunch of. He was doing something, and next you know, they started snatching up boxes of gaming systems and went running out the door. And he couldn't do nothing. They got out and everything like that. And then when it was all said and done and everything like that, then like 2 more people went and stashed some stuff in there and ran out the door. And I was like, yo, I said, I hope you ain't trying to stop him. I said, what's up for what thing? you're gonna lose your job. And then God knows which if they do something to you, because they're gonna have your back. So we had kind of a funny conversation over there and acting like that, and it was all a teachable moment for my teenage son, So we didn't know that they got robbed. It was wow, where we live, this ain't a blue state. That ain't gonna be tolerated out here. So it's all on camera. Those people will be caught and they will suffer. I'm telling you. Let's continue.
Is it just part of the fourth turning? Or is it something that's maybe both? Maybe this is part of the fourth turning. The global elite realize that and remember their main mantra: you never let a crisis go to waste. So they're seeing the tailwind of the fourth turning as far as breaking down society, as far as destabilizing society. And they're like, hey, why not add fuel to the fire? Let's push all of these policies that we know are going to destabilize society even further. Let's defund the police. Let's do inverse, we'll call it inverse immigration, because it's the inverse of what you would want. Let's keep out all the good people, or the qualified people, the very productive people. Let's bring in the people that are crazies with no skill set. And let's push this, and let's just sit back. Let's create this powder keg, and then let's light the fuse and see what happens. Well, we know what's going to happen. And that goes right back to the first website that we went over, that you're going to destroy everything that was built in order to build again new in some sort of Marxist utopia. So I know a lot of you right now are probably saying, hey, George, this isn't a new conspiracy theory. I've known this for the last 10 years. And hey, you got a point there. But for me, I don't know if this is an epiphany moment. These are some of the dots that I've connected that I wanted to share with you. And if this is true, we've got big, big problems, guys. I mean, this is a huge problem, because before, if you just look at 2020, 2021, we could see the authoritarianism pretty much on the left. And then we saw on the right, well, they were going down the path more of what I would consider freedom and individual liberty. But now it seems like the right's going down that path of Crazyville just as bad as the left did. And what happens when you go full circle? Where now, whether you're on the right or left, you're pushing towards bigger government, more central planning, and more authoritarianism for what you deem, and I'm not talking about the rebel capitalist community, but society at large, what they deem to be perfectly legitimate concerns. You have to go back to the 1930s in Germany, or any of these times in history, where people do things that, looking back in retrospect, we can't even believe that human beings could do that to other human beings. And there's a lot of variables that go into this, obviously. But one of the main variables is we've got to get them before they get us. That's how people position the dynamic, that we've got to get them before they get us. That puts you on a very, very slippery slope. And that's exactly what I see happening right here, wherever the story was. Well, I don't know where we put the zero head story, but that's exactly what I see happening. Here we go. With this demolish mosques. This is quintessential. This is exactly what you saw happening. Let's just call a spade, and say the late 1920s, early 1930s in Germany. We got to get them before they get us. All right, guys, some scary stuff here for sure. We'll definitely have to pay attention to this. Hopefully I'm completely wrong.
Oh, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Man.
It's over. We are screwed.
And with that, y'all take care. Please stay on. I got a special treat. Hopefully you like it. And I'll see you later. Shalom.
I don't wanna be crazy no more. Every time I think you're gonna walk out of my door, I start to jump to the conclusion you don't love me no more. Babe, give me something to work with, can you just reassure me? I'll end it before it starts. Call it protecting my heart. Hurt disguised as strength, but it's self-sabotage my love. Self-sabotage my love, cause of my own pain. I question what my future has in store. I get to panicking, anxiety, can't live here no more. So I'll convince myself that I don't want what I really want. I learned it before it starts. Call it protecting my heart, her disguise as strength.